Hi guys, welcome to Sellapy Brand Owner Academy, the Happy Ambassador Bootcamp. This is Mode 1. As I always say, this is not a course. This is your entry into ownership. So let's begin. So welcome to the movement. This is more than a marketplace. I believe you are part of a revolution. For you as an ambassador, you are not just here to sell a product. I believe you are here to launch brand that represents you, to tell a story that moves people, to build income stream you own, to lead the community that learns and earns together, and to rise and bring others with you. This is your launch pad, and I believe together we will build something great. So I welcome you once again to the movement. So this is the foundation to niche brand greatness, or what I say, the niche brand building movement. My goal today is to make you set your mindset upright, to make sure you understand the mission of this Ambassador Bootcamp, and to make you build a model that establish what niche brand building is actually about. So I believe that if you watch the intro video, you understand briefly what niche building is all about. We believe that there is a psychology around the niche dominance, that in the e-commerce space these days you don't want to be selling random products or trying to chase the mass market. For you to be able to effectively participate in the e-commerce space in this AI era, we believe strongly that you have to be niche dominant. And for this bootcamp, I believe also that you have to think like a wealth builder rather than income earner, because I believe your freedom lies between your decision between creating wealth or earning income. Also, within this particular module, I'll give you a clearer understanding of the opportunity that lies or that relies in the diaspora empire, or in the diaspora dominated niches. So also I would like to introduce you to what I call the 7 phases of a niche brand journey, which I believe is one of the most important things you will learn in this module. So, and lastly, I would like you to embrace what we call the power of personal branding, because I believe that behind every personal brand there is a story and legacies and purpose that must be fulfilled, or that must be demonstrated. These are the core things you should be expecting from this short module. So I always say that you joining this bootcamp, even if you've never had the mindset that you're going to be a millionaire, I strongly believe this bootcamp platform generally is built for these underdog billionaires or millionaires or multi-millionaires. We believe that for you joining this bootcamp alone, it makes you think like a wealth builder, not just as a hustler. You want to come to this platform and have a mindset shift, that you want to build something that will make you to be among the millionaires. You know, in this platform we believe that anyone can become a millionaire in as much they can dream it, they can see it. I believe we can all achieve it. So let's carry on with the brand rebirth. which is what I call the legacy blueprint that make you stand out from ordinary product seller and a niche brand building or builder. So why exactly is niche brand the future? We believe that specificity is the new currency within the e-commerce space. If you don't have a niche to dominate, you are just here to be chasing the mass market. We believe that the big guys who owns massive platform have already dominated the massive market. But what about you, the underdogs? How are you going to differentiate yourself from the mass market who owns all infrastructure? They got all the budgets, they got all the finances that they can use to dominate any mass market. But we strongly believe that a small brand has an edge. And what's the edge? Is for you to go niche. If you can go niche around a particular specialty, your own personal experience, and so many experience that revolves around you within the environment you have settled. So which is why we believe that you are part of a movement. Don't see yourself as part of a mass market, but you are part of a movement that is going to make meaning, and at the same time the meaning that will benefit your immediate environment and yourself as well. So in this module, I want you to understand that you need to unlock your vision, your mindset, and your clarity. These together will make you to be able to envisage and develop a niche just around you without necessarily struggling to know the environment or the specific market that you want to jump into. You can start a niche just using yourself as an avatar, as an identity. What problem lies within you? What problems are surrounding you? What problems are your siblings or your nearest neighbor or even your immediate family are facing that you think you can build a niche about or around? Which is why we believe that you must have a vision, you must have a mindset and a clarity that can give birth to a niche that you have not even identified previously. So what is the niche brand mindset? We believe that when you build a brand, you build a bridge from your story to the world, which is what I've said earlier on, that even you yourself, you are a niche. Not to talk of your surroundings, your siblings, your friend's story, and the story of your community, the story of your nation can give birth to a niche. Going niche does not mean you are going too small. That has always been my argument with a lot of people that I've encountered in recent time. Going niche just means that you are being specific to a particular identity or to a particular person or to a particular group of people. Then you want to build a brand around them. To cut it short, niche brand in the e-commerce space is the new cash cow. This is where you can generate a consistent cash flow. I know if you are familiar with the content creators, they always say identify a niche and you build your content around it. It's a bit similar to within the e-commerce space. Identify a niche, identify the problem or the trend or the passion of that particular niche, then you can carve a brand around that niche. I want you to have a mindset that for you to be able to create a niche that makes sense, firstly identify the problem that revolves around that niche. If you know you find it difficult to identify problem that revolves around it, okay, identify the addiction, the conspiracy that revolves around that niche. Then you can create or carve a brand from that particular niche. Let's say, for example, among the Gen Z in Nigeria, specifically young boys, majority of them these days, they like wearing the dreadlocks. You know that there is a trend, there is an addiction that is growing among the Gen Z men these days. You can build a product around the dreadlock mentality. What about their dressing code? Are they dressing in a way that is different from the millennials? You can build a brand around them. Pick a particular Gen Z guy that you know down your street. Look at him very well. What is his age bracket? What is his color? What kind of way does the person like dressing? What kind of hair does the person always wear on his head? What kind of shoes does the person like? What time does the person like going out? What time of the day that the person likes staying indoor? These are characteristics of a particular avatar that you want to build a niche around. Then once you are able to identify all this, you can build a particular brand around the person. The reason why I always argue that going niche does not mean you are going small. I want you to understand it now. The fact that you are building your brand around that person does not mean it's just for that person. There are hundreds of thousands of that person just all over the nation, even in your environment. Hundreds of them. Imagine if you can satisfy that guy, you can satisfy hundreds of that same guy that revolves around that community or nationwide. That is the idea of niche branding. Let's move on. So what is the niche method? Let's just look at the acronyms of this niche from the niche brand millionaire perspective. You are trying to build a narrative. That means you are trying to tell a particular story of that particular identity or the avatar you are trying to build your brand about. You are actually telling a story, and this story is not just ordinary story. It is a story that will be impactful. That means the story that is emotionally driven, that will be carved around a particular behavior or a particular trend or a particular problem, that whenever anybody you build this story around, when they listen to it, they feel like, oh, you are actually talking to them, that you are actually speaking their pain, you are actually speaking their love, you are actually singing the music they like listening to. This is the niche brand narrative impact. And not that alone. In terms of the C aspect of the niche, we stand for competition. You are trying to build a defensive brand that does not give entry to a lot of competition within the niche you are building. I know within the e-commerce space there is just too much of competition, especially when it comes to the drop shipping aspect. If you create a product today, tomorrow someone will just watch your store and they already create a brand around it, and they start throwing ad on it, and before you know, they might get little success. But when you are able to build a defensive competition, even if there's going to be a competition, there will be an edge that you have over them, because you have been able to identify a particular need that you can solve a problem that give you the opportunity to be the mastermind of that particular problem, of that particular identity that you are solving for. So, and let's move to the H part of the niche, which is the hype. Once you understand the narratives, the impact, the competitive edge, you'll be able to build an hype. You'll be able to embrace it with your full chest. You'll be able to like wake up in your dream and tell a story that melts people's hearts. You'll be able to tell a story that actually builds your competitors. You'll be able to build an hype around it. You'll be able to create your content easily because you already understand the A to Z of that particular niche. And the E aspect of it, which is the evergreen. This one is very important. I always say to people or my students that if you want to build any brand, please and please don't build a brand that is seasonal. If it's seasonal, and let's say for example this particular product only sells during festive period, that means what are you going to sell throughout when it's off season? Or you are selling a product that only exists during rainy season. What's going to happen to your store or brand when you are in the dry season. So make sure you build something that is evergreen, that is forever, all season round, what is applicable, usable throughout the year round. For example, let's say you want to build a niche around women. Let's say you want to build this niche that is surrounding their period or menstrual pain. You know that every month all ladies that haven't entered menopause will always have their period every month. That is an example of an evergreen product or evergreen niche. Whatever brand you create, you know that all this set of particular avatar, which are the women, they will always come to order from you every month, in as when they continue to have their menstrual period. And even if you want to go outside menstrual period, if you are going even for the menopause people, they always have hormonal problem. If you build your problem or your brand around the hormonal problem of women of a certain age, let's say age 50, let's say age 50, don't let us say 45, age 50 upward to, let's say, people to like 65 that always have hormonal problem, they will always have that almost every month until when they enter the age that the hormonal rate in them has really decreased. You can build a brand around them. You know that you have an evergreen brand or product that they will always come back for more. That is the evergreen idea there. So let's move on. So what is the psychology of the niche domination? I always say vividly, as I've mentioned earlier on, big brands always believe that they are everywhere. Not even that they believe it, they are everywhere because they have the finances. They can put the ad everywhere. They can afford, they can go to any length for them to put their ads in the face of their customer. They can spend millions of dollars just to put an ad there. But for a niche brand builder, you don't have that kind of resources. You don't have that kind of capability to be putting hundreds of millions of advertisement. That is why you have to think that, okay, with the little I have, can I just put my ad in the front of people who really needs it, not even just want it, people who really needs it, who will really purchase and derive value from whatever you are creating. So you must create an emotion around that particular niche. I would say deprive yourself away from thinking in terms of I want to chase millions of people once. I mean, reaching the mass market. You need to dispatch yourself away from that. So your aim is to speak to a specific person, not to many people. You want to speak to this particular avatar. If I say avatar here, I mean a particular person, identity that you are using as your core brand or core niche avatar. So let's look at the 3 E's that actually determine the niche dominance. I call the very first one here, which is the empathy. Whatever niche you are building, you have to show to your audience that you have empathy for them, especially when you are trying to solve a problem. Empathy, you have to be emotionally connected with them so that they too will be emotionally connected to you. And this is why you see, for example, you see some content creators that they've built so much connection with their followers that they are emotionally connected with each other. Even if the content the influencer commands them to do something, you see them doing it blindly because they followed that person emotionally, blindly. I don't want to use the word blind, but you understand what I mean. Like, they are emotionally connected to each other that you even see some of them dressing like that influencer. That's to tell you the power of empathy they've carved around their followers. So the other thing here, which is the E, another E, the second E here is the expertise. If you prove that you want to create a niche around a particular problem, you must stand as an expert within that niche. If anybody wakes you up in the middle of the night, what do you know about your niche? You should be able to give them hundreds of explanations without even looking at the textbook. You should be able to tell the story around them. You should be able to tell their pain, their gain, what they love, where they go, like going, where they dine, where they like to mingle, the time of music they listen to, their age range. You you must be able to be an expert around that niche, so that when you stand your ground, when you are creating content, for example, people know that yes, you actually know what you are talking about, you are an expert within that domain. That's why I always advise people that make sure you can create your niche around your area of expertise, not necessarily you trying to build a niche around something you don't have idea or experience, or you have to learn from scratch. That is the idea around it. And the third E, which is the edge, if you are able to do all this that I have explained earlier on, you have an edge over your competitors. Your competition will not be able to beat you in your own game, because you are an expert within that domain. You have shown a lot of empathy that is connecting you with your audience, and this will give you an edge around it. These are the 3 E's that determine a niche dominant, if you are choosing a particular niche. So as I mentioned earlier on, I said you have to differentiate yourself from a wealth builder versus